let's go back to one of the athletes himself before we finish up today. We definitely get to talk to some football now. We've got a local legend, NFL, uh, top 75 team. The list of honors is too long for me to name. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Thanks for giving us a few minutes today. Thanks so much, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me. Had a little phone problem earlier, couldn't get through, so but thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. We appreciate you calling back in and giving us a few minutes. You're a local guy who's done good. You went to Widener. You're in the Philly Sports Hall of Fame. You were drafted in the 15th round, 365th overall out of Widener. What was that like to wait around that long and then realize your dream?
Hey, look, I was just wishing to be considered. I was happy with that. So, just waiting around. It was, for instance, for me, from a small school, hey, I was just glad to be thought about. But being drafted itself and going down to Houston was a great dream of mine come true. You know, how many times you get a chance to play on the big level, on the big stage, coming from a small school.
Billy, you talk about being from a small school. You got to tell us. I've always wondered, and now I have the chance to ask this. What is it like to be a guy? You're not the biggest guy on the field. What is it like to have a punt coming at you with 11 guys coming full steam, knowing they're all gunning for you?
Hey, you have to be trusting, number one. Trusting all those other 10 guys doing their job. But number two, it's really still to your advantage. Uh, that if you have a good returning team, you've got good guys who can really want to be on that team. All you have to do is catch the ball, and if you get a little frightened, you just fair catch. But it can be overwhelming at first. I know when I stepped on to the field as a rookie, my first game, man, if you drop a punt coming from a small school and being a small stature, you might be gone. So there's a lot riding on you, making sure you catch the ball and knowing where you are on the field, and a lot of other things that come into play. But you're just for me, it was just another way of getting the ball and getting a chance to get a carry.
You made your mark as a special teams player and a return man, but I heard an interview when I was getting ready for this where you talked about how playing baseball actually prepared you for returning. You also thought everybody could do it. Can you talk about how playing multiple sports actually prepared you to be a return man?
Oh, it does. It does, definitely. You're always anticipating where the ball is going to end up. You're always looking at the angles. And you can't shortstop or play in the outfield. What you're supposed to do is get set, get ready to run under the ball, depending if there's anybody on the base. It all helps on how you catch the ball and your legs are positioned and the body's positioned ready to go. So I think playing other sports, even basketball, having good quick feet, keeping your feet moving, when you're being about to be tackled, all those things come into play. I'm a big advocate of playing other sports.
Billy, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is one of your fellow teammates in the Gridiron Great Fund was on a few weeks ago, Icky Woods, and people don't understand that players of your generation don't have the same benefits as those of this generation in the NFL. Don't have a lot of their medical expenses paid for, even though they suffered a lot of these injuries on the field. Can you tell us about your work with the Gridiron Great Fund and also Port Brine Appreciation Day?
Well, yeah. Well, the people at Small Batch, um, what they're doing, they've decided to, you know, get together with Mike Vicker's company, Coach Vicker's company, the Good On Grave Assistance Fund, and donate funds to the charity. Of course, they themselves are big time football fans, but it's also a great day for people to get involved with eating pork rinds on that day. But more importantly, the foundation itself really helps those guys who have been unfortunate in regards to medical problems, medical assistance, and because of that, Southern Recipe has always donated, which is a major. They donate enough to help the charity itself, and they've been doing this for the last 12 years.
I got to ask you too. Your playing days on the field. You were a trendsetter with your celebrations and the funky chicken and the white shoes. Did that happen intentionally, or did that just kind of happen? Was that something you planned for, or it just kind of happened?
It just happened. Coming into the league and especially from a you're a small guy and it was just happenstance. We had some good teams, some good returns um, in the NFL, and thanks goodness for Howard Cosell at that time. It really helped. But in college itself, I just did it on a lark, just having fun with our ball players, not to intimidate anybody, not trying to poke fun of anyone, just going out there and having fun. And it just took off on its own.
As a fan, you watch a game and you get down to the end of the game and you see a team line up for a Hail Mary and you're like, whatever, this isn't going to happen. I'm looking through the highlights and I see this game from 1983 where you actually caught a game-winning Hail Mary pass against the Niners. What is that like?
Oh man, that's something you often dream about. It don't hit you till the next day. You go out there and you score the winning touchdown. Seconds winding down, and you avoid a few tackles, would-be tackles, and get into the end zone. It's great. And, because of that, the 49ers did not get a chance to get to the playoffs because they was on a roll at that time. They had suffered a couple of defeats, and they needed that game to get them into the playoffs. Knocking them out of playoffs was nice because they were always in our conference. But that itself, that return itself, it was just a lot of fun. It's something that you often, in the back of your mind, you never give up until the game is over. And doing something like that is just one of those good dreams come true.
Billy, we only have a minute left, but we wanted to ask you, how can people help with the Gridiron Great Fund?
Well, number one, if they want to really get, they can go to the Gridiron Great Assistance Fund.org and find out more about the foundation itself. And they can go to Southern Recipe Small Batch at smallbatch.com and find out. As a matter of fact, go to our website. You'll see guys, like you said, guys are on it, like Ickey Woods, Jack Youngsburg, and they'll get a chance to, of course, Small Batch will donate something for you guys coming on, but they'll get a chance to win $5,000. And just to come on and view and see us talk about football.
Well, we'll make sure
And
to
again,
put
that's
that
just
information. We'll make sure to put that information out there so that people can find it. Billy, we can't thank you enough for giving us a few minutes, talking to us about what you're doing with Gridiron Greats and a little bit about some of your playing days. Thanks so much for the time.
Oh, man, thank you guys for having me. Truly appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you.